Everybody's busy, but nobody is fulfilled. Right now in my life, I'm 22 and I have one semester before I graduate and thereafter have to enter into the workforce. And all of my peers that I grew up with are obviously in the same situation. And what I've realized is that we are all working very hard trying to land a job, trying to build our resume, basically trying to figure out a way where we can sustain ourselves. And yet nobody is fulfilled. We never ask, are you happy? We always ask, oh, what are you doing for work? You know, especially at my age in life. But this really goes for anybody that's above the age of 18. Everybody seems to just be focusing on getting by and not living. I really couldn't tell you a single person that I know personally that's fulfilled in life. And take that with a grain of salt because I don't really have a lot of people that I talk to. However, I've realized that our culture combined with the economy is just, it's all about, oh, how can we profit? So everything's coming down to profit and we're being dehumanized. At my past few jobs that I've had, they've all been like minimum wage jobs because I'm doing it while I'm in school. And I really don't understand why my managers are just such like genuine, like capitalist assholes. It's like, why are you trying so hard? This is like a retail store. What are we doing here? And, disclaimer, I'm not a communist or socialist, or I don't even want to get into all that stuff, but I just like realize that everything is about the next dollar in our society. And I'm getting sick of it, quite frankly. I want genuine relationships. I want connection. I don't want to work 50 hours a week and then barely be able to survive off that. I don't want that. And meanwhile, I have to give up my identity when I'm at work. What are we doing here? And I know I'm not the only person. And people would used to say that a lot of this stuff was like stigmatized. People wouldn't talk about that. But I'm realizing our generation is really starting to speak up about this. Like, it's undeniable how unfulfilled we've become. I feel like everybody is miserable at their job. And I don't want this to be a cynical video, but I do want I want to address what I feel like is reality. Nobody is out here like, oh, I'm excited to get out of bed every day and go to work. No. Really, what I've realized is the value in life, all of our fulfillment is coming from, in my case, it's my faith with God, but family, your friends, your relationships. That's really where most people are getting their fulfillment, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that's a good thing. But the problem is that when you spend time with your family, that's free. Just hanging out in the kitchen, just chopping it up. You guys chill, watch a movie together. People aren't making money off that, so they don't want to give you that time. And it's dehumanizing. And when you finally do get off work, you're so exhausted from having worked all day that you're like, I don't really know if I want to go to the social outing. Like, I just spent all this energy putting a smile on my face the whole day at work, and now I got to go out and do this. I think we're tired of it. I know I'm tired of it. And I'm 22. I already know people in the comments are going to be flaming me like, buddy, you haven't even entered the workforce. But I'll tell you this. I followed the system that they told me. I went to school. I was actually surprisingly pretty good at school. I got salutatorian. I got a full ride to college. 4.0 in college. I'm genuinely not saying that to brag. I'm just saying, I followed what they told me. I got internships. And it all just really has amounted to nothing. I don't have a job lined up, although I haven't really been like working super hard to try to get one. I'm working a lot harder on the social media because that's what I'm passionate about. But I hope that you as the viewer are relating to what I'm saying here, because it gets to the point where the fact that we're unfulfilled is bleeding into other parts of our lives that it shouldn't. Back in the day, people would go to work to get money and then come back home, and then they'd be able to live a fulfilling life. But now we're going to work, coming home, and we're stressed about work. And I don't know if you guys ever saw this video, if you guys follow me on social media, but there's this thing called the 3-place theory. So the first place is work, second place is home, and third place is the area of social gathering. But our generation is the first that doesn't have the third place. We don't have the social gathering. And what's really scary is, for the first time, you can work at home. So there's potential that you only have one place. And so our brains are really not designed or developed for this lifestyle. We're supposed to be tribal. We're supposed to be connecting with other people on a more genuine level too, not like where you just got to pretend to like your coworker. And so the repercussions of this are far beyond what we can imagine right now. I mean, there's going to be long-term psychological effects on generations. And we need to figure out a way to reverse this. People are tired, man. We don't want to work jobs that we hate to buy things that we don't need to impress people that we don't like. That's the other thing. They're tricking us in the media to believe that consumerism is the answer, but it inevitably always leaves you unfulfilled. Every single time. That next t-shirt, that car that you want, it's the idea of it is nice, but once you actually get it, who cares anymore? Desires can only exist when their objects are perpetually absent. So you pretty much will never reach your goal when it comes to just getting things. You have to find other ways of fulfillment. Helping others is a good one. I think that we are lost as a generation. We're lost as a society. We don't have a direction that we're going in terms of having a purpose. The direction that we're going, it looks like now, is really just like AI taking over. And in a weird way, I don't know if any of you guys find comfort in this. Like, I know everyone's talking about like AI could be the end of humanity, which I totally think is like it's a possibility for sure. I'm not an expert, so I don't really know. I've just heard people say that. But there is this weird part of me that wants AI to be able to take over all the jobs, so then we don't have to do them. You know? Am I the only one? Because I know people, that's a very heated thing on the internet that people are talking about. They hate AI. But I'm like, dude, if AI can just take over all the finance jobs, then people don't have to work these freaking 8 to 10 hour days crunching numbers on Excel, caring about freaking finance, bro. Nobody's passionate about that. That's another thing that's a pet peeve of mine, is when people can't admit that they're like not passionate about these super lame jobs. You know, my mother, I love her to death, but she works like a data analysis job, and she like tries to convince herself, and she says that she really likes the job. I'm like, what are we talking about, bro? No kid ever, when they were growing up and asked like, what do you want to be, was like, I want to like sit at a desk all day and just crunch a bunch of numbers and look at a bunch of data sets. Nobody ever said that. That's just that is not how the human brain is designed to live. So yeah, part of me selfishly is like, hey, let's have AI take over, get universal base income. But even all that, there's a bunch of issues with that in and of itself too. On top of that, the whole job market is cooked, man. I know I'm going on a side tangent here, but the average applicant submits 1,200 applications before they get a job. Back in I think it was the 70s, it was 1 to 5. So the whole thing is just, it's one big scam. People aren't fulfilled when you have to play games 24/7 that's inauthentic. We seek connection, we seek authenticity, we seek deeper spiritual meaning. And we're not getting it in the society that we're growing up in. These are just my thoughts. Thank you guys for watching.